Well, after coping mechanisms comes stress. Now, I've got to really talk to you about stress because a lot of people think stress comes from a different place than it does. Stress comes from high demand and low control. When you are asked to do something that you have no control over, don't know how to do, don't want to do, wondering why you were asked to do it, that's high demand and low control. You can be in all kinds of stressful situations for other people, but as long as you can control it, then it's not stressful to you. So the amount of wear and tear on your body is stress. And that comes from high demand and low control. Now, too much stress results in burnout. And burnout comes because you keep doing this over and over and over again, things that you don't want to do, and so forth. Now, the whole point about stress is you can accept it or not. For example, there are certain things. I remember I used to be on the road 50 weeks a year. I would leave my house on a Sunday or Monday and come back on a Friday. And I was usually in a different city every day speaking or consulting. Well, and this was in the good days of flying, not now what you go through now. So I found that there were three things I could not control. Number one, I did not control the airlines. They didn't fly when I wanted to, and if there was weather or mechanical, I was stuck. There was nothing I could do. I could scream, I could yell, I could carry on, I could make everybody upset, mostly myself, or I could deal with it. So how I dealt with it, and one of my coping mechanisms for that was that's when I read. I used to take my reading with me. That's when I wrote. I wrote a lot of articles and a lot of books while I was sitting in the terminal. And that's how I dealt with it because there was nothing I could do. I could only go when the plane flew. Now, sometimes I had other choices. Sometimes I took a Greyhound bus. Sometimes I rented a cab. Sometimes I rented a car. Just depended on what I needed to do. But again, that was one of the things that in traveling that I had to be concerned about. I sometimes got into a hotel so late, they told me they didn't have a room for me. And I had to be up at 6 or 7 in the morning to get my room straight so that I could begin my seminars at 9 o'clock. Well, let me tell you, I could again either scream and yell or be calm about it. And I will tell you what I did in one circumstance, which I know probably many of you would not do, but I did do it. I said, well, I had a guaranteed reservation, and here it is. This is my confirmation number. And I'm just going to go to sleep in your lobby until you find me a room, because they always have a room. They always have some kind of a room. And I proceeded to lie down on a couch with my suitcase right near me, and you would not believe, within like a minute, they had a room for me. So there are ways to deal with all of these things. And it's how you approach everything that makes a difference. But the key is, yes, there's good stress. And we talk about the good stress as, you know, the instances of when a mom picks up a car if something has happened to her child underneath it, or running for something when she never ran before in her life because it protected her child. Well, there's good stress that produces the kind of results you want. And then there's the bad stress. And that's what, again, takes the energy out of you. So when we talk about stress, remember, it's high demand and low control. When you have no control over what's going on, that's where stress results. When you can deal with it, when you can fix it, when it's of your own making, that is stress that should not tear you down. But just remember, too much stress results in burnout. I'm always amazed when I hear stories of single moms who, for example, they work 2 jobs and they have to worry about, you know, taking care of their kids or getting them in after school care and doing their homework with them. And they don't make a lot of money and they can't afford a nanny. And they get these kids raised well. They get their kids raised happily. They get their kids raised to be good citizens. I think they are the heroes and the heroines, truthfully, of our society, because to me, that's a difficult thing to do. So when we talk about stress, it can be in all situations, all kind of circumstances, but the important thing is to understand that too much stress results in burnout. Stress comes from high demand and low control, and we all have instances of stress in our life.